I must say, I do relish the succinctness and the brevity of Taoist expression. So far as we may be concerned, I sometimes feel the right action is that which proceeds as spontaneous flow, as a perceived naturalness, and as truly spontaneous self-expression, proceeds without compulsion and without leadership. It happens as a shared knowing, which is a feeling for the flow of things. We might enlarge a little on that sometime. I do dislike leadership, and I do dislike compulsion, and I do dislike autocracy. And if we're adult at all in these matters, it is to be hoped we can go with the flow. The question is then, what are we going to talk about tonight? So many things we could talk about. The entire world is in flux and crisis, with prodigious opportunity and unprecedented dangers. We're part of all that. Therefore, each and all of us have our perceived problems. It's ever so interesting. When is a problem not a problem? Or when does it become a problem? I've often felt in the past a problem is a problem when you don't have the energy to deal with it. But that is much too limited a specification. Because of course the other side of the picture is it's a very common human manifestation for the malfunctioning of energy, an excessive energy, to be misapplied and capable of untold damage. Looked at very superficially. If one had money in the bank, you would only have to sign a check and all doors would be open for you to remove yourself from whatever problems there may be to another scene, another place. A place of benign repose, where one could then write books for the benefit of those who remain behind, telling them what and how to do. Yes. I tell you, if I had money in the bank, I wouldn't be here. That's for sure. Smile, please. The next question is, what do we get to talk about? Perhaps before we ask that question, or allow it to register, perhaps I should just mention a little book I picked up. Was it yesterday? Day before yesterday. Khalil Gibran, I didn't know. It's a series of parables. Some of them are very pertinent. Perhaps I could just read one. The first one. Not entirely a parable, and yet it is. You are your own forerunner, and the towers you have builded are but the foundation of your giant self. And that self too shall be a foundation. And I too am my own forerunner. For the long shadow stretching before me at sunrise shall gather under my feet at the noon hour. Yet another sunrise shall lay another shadow before me, and that also shall be gathered at another noon. Always we have been our own forerunners, and always shall be. And all that we have gathered and shall gather shall be but seeds for fields yet unploughed. We are the fields and the ploughmen, the gatherers and the gathered. When you were a wandering desire in the mist, I too was there, a wandering desire. Then we sought one another, and out of our eagerness dreams were born. And dreams were time limitless, and dreams were space without measure. And when you were a silent word upon life's quivering lips, I too was there, another silent word. Then life uttered us, and we came down the years, throbbing with memories of yesterday, and with longing for tomorrow, for yesterday was death conquered, and tomorrow was birth pursued. And now we are in God's hands. You are a sun in his right hand, and I am earth in his left hand. Yet you are not more shining than I shone upon. And we, sun and earth, are but the beginning of a greater sun and a greater earth. And always shall we be the beginning. You are your own forerunner. You the stranger passing by the gate of my garden. And I too am my own forerunner, though I sit in the shadows of my trees and seem motionless. So what are we going to talk about? Do we need to talk about anything? What are we going to talk about?
At Christmas time.
Pardon?
At Christmas time, we were talking about the Messiah, and there was a sentence from it you mentioned, and it was, the Lord whom ye seek.
Oh, you mean the oratorio?
Yes. Shall suddenly come to his temple, and you wouldn't talk about it then, the meaning of that.
Really?
Yes.
Cop out, isn't it?
Yes. So I wondered whether you could say something this week or tonight.
So, what do we think about that? What do we think about that? Is it worth thinking about?
Which of the scriptures does that come from?
Don't know.
Malachi.
Wasn't it he shall surprise you by coming into his temple?
I know.
Wasn't it?
And the Lord whom ye seek shall suddenly come to his temple.
Yeah, that's the phrase. Do we want any of the old malarkey? What does it mean? What does it mean?
It's the temple of the heart. Is that what they're talking about? Temple of the heart?
The body has to become the temple first, doesn't it?
What do we think? What do we think? Smile, dear friends.
Is it the same as the Muslim saying, he who you see is closer to you than the neck of your camel?
It's a good saying, that, isn't it?
It is also said that the Lord is always present when the faithful are in adoration.
It's the act of seeking, invoking.
Must be, mustn't it? One of the potent words in the ancient Vedic vocabulary was pura. It meant city. It meant citadel. It also meant human body. And by simple extension in this context, it meant temple, the body as temple. These are images which were, of course, objectified as outer buildings, as outer structures. As material manifestations of, at its best, a sublime inner impetus. The meaning of the temple has import both subjective and objective. And also singular and plural, individual and collective. And so we get the ancient image of the city of God. The individual temple plus the city, fit for spiritual beings to dwell in. And associated, of course, with all this, there is the inner vision, the inner prompting, the subtle discernment that there is a profounder level where the temple already exists, where the holy city is already a reality, and where the dweller therein is a true and realizable presence. So there is in various faiths at various times the recurring invocation that the deeper truth, the inner truth, shall become known and manifest physically, externally. And this presupposes, of course, an integration in human consciousness between that within us which is light and that which is also our being and is the substance of the earth. Which means, obviously, that integration implies a marriage, a union, an interfusion of that which is infallible and cosmic, and a dweller within, and that which has the limitations of the physical. And the potentiality for resurrection. That through which the spirit makes its journey, attains its goal, finds the object of its embrace, and in that life is fulfilled. So we build our temples as a prompting, as a reminder, as an inspired substitute for what should be the true state of our own being. For if we were true and knowing that which was everlastingly new, we would have no need of special places, of consecrated structures. Which are really the higher level of our wish-fulfilling fantasies. A very long time ago, 1500 BC or so, a Christ being was king of Egypt. He came at a time of corruption. As the great ones always do. He simplified everything. He focused attention on that which was directly and immanently relevant. He turned his back on the corrupt priesthood of his period. He made a simple utterance. He simply stated that he was both Pharaoh and the high priest. This concept of the fusion of the king and the supreme priest, fused into a single transcendental being, is of course an ancient one. But it was not probably invented by the Jews. Although it was given tremendous, powerful significance by that chosen race. Conveying the impulse of a deeper understanding forward through time as a transmission towards our own era and beyond it, as a pointer of course to what was to come. An echo of what had been, but also an indication of further future revelatory comings of the true priest king. Akhenaten stated simply, he was both king and high priest. And he was the beloved son of his father, who was the eternal light of the cosmos, the Aten. And he founded a city, a new city, Akhetaten, city of the sun. Essentially, he proclaimed a gospel of harmony, tolerance, love, and an aversion for warfare. He arose at a time when a curious fact had manifested in the consciousness of the Egyptian people. Their devotion to the light above, the supremacy of the sun, had produced a corresponding obsession, a compensatory obsession with the subterranean reaches of human consciousness. Too much fixation on the underworld of our consciousness chained to limitation, darkness, and death. Akhenaten exploded all that. And he created a new city, the holy city. And it was intolerable. And it was destroyed. Who destroyed it and why? Was he not absurdly unrealistic? Or is there another organic significance in manifestations of this kind? Who was doing what? What is the inner meaning? Does it say anything to us today? Anything effective, that is. Anything richer and truer than a mere explanation. The experts have all the explanations. Where is the understanding? What is understanding? Is explanation understanding? The experts are not a means to understanding. They are the substitute that evolution provides for our lack of understanding. More and more experts do not necessarily lighten the path of humanity. What does it all mean, I wonder? What is the Lord? Where is the Lord? What is the holy city? What is the temple therein? All these are questions which are profoundly related to the unfolding potentiality and the inevitable confusions of the human species. Who is the Lord? Who is the seeker? Where is the king? What is the temple? In the darkness and confusion of our time, here and there, an unexpected light is manifest. It is a small flame, but unique. Because our time is unique. And humankind at this phase of evolution is unique. The Lord whom you seek shall suddenly come to his temple. The seeker looks above, or below, or sideways, or without, or even within. As long as the seeker seeks, there is potential, there is possibility. Life is in action. There is flux and combination, and the possibility of fulfillment through an unfettered flow. But always the truth happens as a shock of surprise. A startling shock. Something so much greater than the seeker and his or her presuppositions. Suddenly, from where we do not look, the giant within becomes the temple and the dweller. And the aspiration and the seeking fall away. This is the destiny of all humankind. To receive that shock. When the flame within shall be able to blaze forth in human manifestation, without consuming the vessel that contains it. But blazing through it. and nourishing, regenerating, resurrecting, that which evolution has for countless centuries laboured to bring about. The vessel fit for the fire of the Spirit to inhabit. Paradoxically, the evolving human entity will never of itself achieve fitness. This can happen only when the Buddhic truth that seeks to burgeon within our understanding is allowed to take possession. Then all is changed. Then the king is not remote. But is the ruler and the dweller. And we are the inner sanctum, and the outer dwelling place, the shrine, the altar, and the union of all things. Again, we have to say, all is paradox. It cannot be anticipated. It cannot even be rejected. It can be impeded. And our primary and overriding obligation is to allow it to happen. The true time is always now. The true way is always here. The true sacrifice is always the sacrificer himself. And the son of the dawn will illumine all things. The setting sun will purify. And make possible the fullness of resurrection. And from the setting of the sun, there will arise the ruler of the temple, the knower of the way, the light of the world. Some of us are asleep. Some of us need a cup of tea. Let's have a little bit of Bollet, Keith.